Old Mage Guy is now live. Streaming politics. Morning news with OMG.
I'm up. Can't say it's necessarily a good day so far. Because a cat and a dog are driving me bonkers. Come on, meet. Loki, come here, get it. Come get it, Loki. I'm not gonna fucking keep repeating myself, dude. You wanna keep being a punk ass little bitch?
Damn it. YouTube, Hinson Jackson. Good morning, bro.
Morning. Loki and my cat are driving me up the wall this morning. This is the most quiet she's been since I've been up. And Loki's acting like an idiot. Quite literally, just acting like an idiot.
YouTube, Hinson Jackson. What's going on with them?
Loki, being a dum-dum, called him down to his food for breakfast, and he just looking at him like, "Duh," multiple times. And it's just like, you know what? If you're not going to listen, fuck it. You can fucking go without. You're not going to die if you don't have breakfast. Hell, you're not even really going to be hurting. But beside the point. So, took a break from being an idiot. So his door, he says, "Oh, I'm going to get down off the bed in the lightest possible fucking way, proving that everything I've been doing is just me being an ass and throwing a fit 24/7. And starts eating. It's like, hell no. Dude, I fucking called you down for it and you fucking ignored my ass. And then you sat here and played this fake ass fucking, "Oh, I can't do nothing without shaking the entire trailer" bullshit. And prove to me that you don't have to do it, that you're just being an ass. Dublin, like I said, was as quiet as she's been since I've been up. So I just got done chewing her a new asshole. Getting ready to finally have some nicotine and caffeine.
YouTube, Hinson Jackson. LMAO.
So yeah, this entire time the shaking of the trailer, when he gets up or down off that bed, just because he's being a fucking prick. He can get up and down, on and off that bed, without that. Any of that. He's basically a 5-year-old throwing a fit all the goddamn time. But I should kind of expect that considering I'm not a daddy. That's Dad. I've got a hair on my upper lip. I can see it. Oh, close to my nose. Yeah, there's a little bit in my nose. Man, damn lucky hair. Go away, Pokemon.
And there's nothing conservative about an unelected South African netball baby firing people to the A. And for our Republican neighbors now, all of a sudden they're like, I wanted my 401k to go down. I wanted this,
Bullshit. Stop lying.
Idea that you would be okay. Can you imagine if President Barack Obama had brought his unelected African friend to cut?
Oh, fuck
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
They would have been up in
How they
arms.
think to cut the government, this is wrong. And your member of Congress is there to be your voice, is there to push back. And there's nothing conservative about an unelected South African netball baby firing people to the A.
Tired of absolute low rewards? Sick of scraping together thousands of points just for a $5 gift card? I'd like you to meet Benjamin. Now,
With the stock market tanking, senior business analysts on networks like CNBC are now going after Donald Trump. Insanity is not a strategy. Let's discuss. I'm Dave Ehrenberg, former state attorney for Palm Beach County, a.k.a. the Florida lawman here on the Midas Touch Network. Check out Steve Leisman, who's been around a long time, well-respected economic analyst at CNBC, who doesn't normally criticize Donald Trump, but this is what he said about the latest round of tariffs. Check this out.
happening at the same time.
I'm going to say this at risk of my job, Kelly, but what President Trump is doing is insane. It is absolutely insane. It is about the 8th reason we've had for the tariffs, and now he's saying he's putting 50% tariffs on Canada unless they agree to become the 51st state. That is insane. There is just no other way of describing it. And the trouble, Kelly, is that it shows there are no bounds around President Trump. This is very different from the first administration, where there were people around him who seemed to, I don't know what the word is, but smooth over some of the edges now. And the other thing that's not talked about, Kelly, is what's going on within the administration in terms of how they're treating the Constitution and laws. I think all of that is bad for the attraction of capital. And the gentleman from Bridgewater is 100% right. We need massive amounts of capital if we want to fund our deficits, pay for the things we want to pay for, sell our bonds, and have high stock prices. And it seems as if this administration is doing everything it can to chase foreign capital away.
And we're starting to see more and more economists come out and criticize Trump for his tariffs, which everyone knew was a bad idea, but if we had a working Congress, maybe they would actually say something about it. But they decide to just emasculate themselves and decide to give up all their power to the executive branch. So far, only the judiciary is doing anything to provide any guardrails. But when it comes to tariffs, they're on and off and on and off. And as Steve Leisman said, now the explanation is that he wants Canada to be the 51st state, and if not, they're going to have a tariff. I mean, it's insanity, and insanity is not a strategy. So as prices go up and the stock market goes down, more and more people are speaking out. But it's not just people you see on TV, it's also ordinary Americans who have had enough. In fact, remember Trump got elected because of the price of eggs. That was a big reason why, and the public was led to believe that somehow his economy was the best economy when he inherited a really strong economy, and then he inherited again in 2024, 2025, another very strong economy with the stock market doing very well, and now look what's happened. And the public is taking notice. According to The Hill, more than half of the respondents in a survey released Wednesday say they disapprove of President Trump's handle on the economy. And this is the first time the polls have showed now Trump's formerly strongest issue has now turned against him and become a liability. The CNN poll found that 56% of respondents disapprove of the way Trump has handled the economy since returning to office, while 44% say they approve, and 1% say they don't have an opinion on the matter. And those who say they approve wait till they start seeing the price of eggs and other goods, especially those affected by these tariffs. The results are statistically similar to survey respondents' general approval of the way Trump is handling his job as president, with 54% disapproving, 45% approving, and 1% saying they're not sure. The survey shows. By the way, how do you say you're not sure? How do you not have an opinion about what's going on today?
Because you're lying
Get
about
off the
it.
sidelines, right? And now Trump is not ruling out the possibility of a recession. And so that is something different. It used to be where he would talk up the economy. It used to be he cared deeply about the stock market. Now this is just uncharted territory. Just doing tariffs because he can, saying that we can go into a recession because he doesn't care, because he's not running for re-election again. He's not allowed. We'll see what happens then. But what do you think the Republicans are thinking in the House, who all are on the ballot in 2026? It doesn't bode well for the Republicans, and historically a bad time for the incumbent party. Once an incumbent party has the White House, they lose seats in the House, and so that slim House majority is in great peril. When people say that 2028 is a long way away, well, maybe so, but not 2026. That'll be here sooner than you know it, and that would itself just cut Trump's power off the knees. Because once you've lost the House, you now have new oversight and ability to stop the Trump agenda. Right now, the House has no power because they've given up power. It's something unique. We've never seen this in American history, where the legislative branch has decided to give away all its power. This is the branch, after all, that had the power of the pocketbook, power of the purse, seen as, by our framers, as the most powerful branch of government. But you would know it the way that they're acting now. But that will change, especially if we hit a recession, especially if the price of household goods and food like eggs continues to go up, and especially if 401ks continue to go down.
Get all your allergy needs on DoorDash. Delivered where and when you need them. With allergies,
Go up, and especially if 401ks continue to go down. And for those who care about budget deficits, because Trump never did, but now with Doge, I guess that's a big priority, it's not working. According to CNBC, the U.S. debt and deficit problem worsened during President Donald Trump's first month in office, as the budget shortfall for February passed the $1 trillion mark, even though the fiscal year is not yet at the halfway point.
Jesus.
And then you add on the Trump tax cuts that he wants for the rich, along with elimination of the taxes on tips and Social Security benefits, and that would add trillions and trillions more to the national debt. So you're talking about higher tariffs, lower stock market, higher deficit, higher prices on everything. When's the good part coming in? When's the best economy in the world coming in? So we'll see if anyone has any spine to actually block this race to financial ruin. But it seems that the Republicans only become fiscal hawks when the Democrats are in power.
Yep.
Yes, when the deficits and debt just overwhelm our economy, and they'll find a Democratic president to blame. Or maybe they'll blame DEI. I wish I had some better news. I always like to be an optimist. But I guess the better news is the public is starting to pay attention through town hall meetings, which Republicans are now canceling. through polling data, through business commentators, economists on TV like Steve Leisman, CNBC, normally very pro-economic growth, leans, conservative. Now they're starting to speak up, and it only seems to be growing. So we'll keep following here on the Midas Touch Network. Midas Mighty, keep speaking up and speaking out. Leave a comment below. Share with a friend. Hit that like button if you like this video. I'm Dave Ehrenberg, a.k.a. the Florida Lawman. Check us also at our sister channel, Court Authorities, where we meet at the intersection of law, politics, and true crime, and do a lot of videos over there, including a number on Diddy, Luigi Mangione, Donna Adelson, and other hot legal topics. So I'll see you over there, and I'll see you here next time.
Can't get enough Midas? Check out the Midas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Rob Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MidasPlus.com.
Shit, that's not the one I was going for.
A warm welcome by the United Kingdom and France of Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney. Carney very intentionally chose both France and the United Kingdom for his first official visit with true allies of Canada, and he made it very clear that he wanted reliable allies who Canada could trust. It was clearly a powerful statement being made, and not just the untrustworthy, but a downright villainous Trump regime. Just look at the photos that were posted here by Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. You have chosen France for your first visit abroad. It is a great honor, and it highlights the importance of the relationship between Canada and France. Very happy to welcome you, dear Prime Minister Mark Carney. That's how you do it. Or how about this from UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer? Welcome to Downing Street, Canadian Prime Minister. As allies and friends, the UK and Canada share a close and unique partnership. We will continue working together to improve the lives of people in both of our countries. Allies and friends, this is the way it's supposed to be done, folks. Not the horror show, the weirdo idiocracy that takes place at the Oval Office with the demented Donald Trump. Take a look at what Canada's new Prime Minister Mark Carney had to say during a press conference he held in France. Powerful words right here. Let's play it.
Look, we can stand up for ourselves. It's Canada strong. We can stand up for ourselves. We've called out those comments. They're disrespectful. They're not helpful. And they need to stop before, and they will have to stop before we sit down and have a conversation about our broader partnership with the United States. But we're Canada. We don't need other people to come to our aid. Go on.
It's also a press conference. Let's play it.
What we did discuss is, particularly with France, is deeper security and military cooperation, which is in the interest of overall global security. And we did discuss in both cases deepening of our economic ties.
Here's a great video made by UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer right here when he said, "Great to see a Canadian PM together. We will work to deliver security and growth for the people in UK and Canada. And we will continue in our combined efforts to put Ukraine in the strongest possible position for a just and lasting peace." Gotta love it. Play this video that Keir Starmer sent. Play the clip.
Very good speech. Welcome you.
Yeah, as an ally, a friend, and the two countries work very, very strong. Camaraderie, support for each other, and history and future.
Well, thank you. Thank you, dear. That's a good word. It's a big thing. Partnership is strong, and it will continue to grow at a time where we through the G7, we can help appreciate.
Just take a look right here how it's being reported about Prime Minister Carney's first trip to Europe. First visit was France, then to the United Kingdom. Play this clip.
Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, has chosen Europe, not the United States, for his first trip abroad. He said it was important for Canada to strengthen relations with reliable allies. Mark Carney met President Macron in Paris today and will travel to London later. Canada, like Europe, is being hit by a swathe of tariffs imposed by Donald Trump, ramping up trade tension between the nations.
Later on Monday, Emmanuel Macron put out the following statement. President of France put out the following statement. Following Saturday's meeting on peace and security in Ukraine and my discussion with POTUS yesterday, I spoke with President Zelensky today. President Zelensky demonstrated the courage to accept the U.S. proposal for a 30-day ceasefire. It's now up to Russia to prove that it truly wants peace. Enough deaths, enough lives destroyed, enough devastation. The weapons must fall silent. The atrocities and sabotage must cease. The deported Ukrainian children must be reunited with their families. These are all the conditions that Russia must fulfill, and I am confident that Trump's commitment to this cause. We must now move forward with all our partners to present a concrete peace plan, a peace plan that provides strong security guarantees for Ukraine, a peace plan that ensures lasting peace in Ukraine and Europe, a peace plan that prevents Russia from attacking again. Do y'all see how brilliantly France, the UK, and Canada flipped the script when pathetic, awful negotiator Donald Trump tried to cut out Europe and Ukraine and Zelensky from negotiations with Russia, where Trump had to have them just bilaterally with Putin? And what Trump wanted to do, right, in my opinion, was Trump wanted to steal the Ukrainian minerals for Trump's sovereign wealth fund, and then he wanted to give the rest of Ukraine to Putin. That's what I think the deal that Trump wanted. Europe, Canada, UK, Australia, they see what he's doing. They know Donald Trump's type. They know he's a predator. They know he's a felon. They know his adulation and admiration of Putin. And they intervened and they basically, whoop, we got Zelensky's back. So you're not now just dealing with Ukraine. You're dealing with Ukraine, Europe, Canada, Australia. We are the coalition of the willing. Here you have, by the way, I think she's great. The foreign minister of Canada, she does not mince words. Here's what she had to say about Marco Rubio and other from the Trump regime who showed up in Canada recently at one of the G7 gatherings in advance of the big June meeting. And they were all like, oh, we're just, you know how Trump is? She's like, nah, we're sovereign nation. Don't talk that shit here, basically. We're not dealing with that crap. You respect us. You understand, Rubio? Play this clip.
To the secretary is Canada's sovereignty is not right. Period. There's no argument. There's no conversation about it. There's no need to talk about it. You're here. You respect us. You respect our sovereignty. You're in our country. You respect our people. Period. Yeah, I think many of my colleagues coming here thought that this issue was still a joke, and that this had to be taken in a humorous way. But I said to them, this is not a joke.
No.
Canadians are anxious. Canadians are proud people, and you are here in a sovereign country, and so therefore, we don't expect this to be even discussed or clearly not laughed at. And so I think you should ask them that question today. The approach when it comes to a relationship with the U.S. and through my conversation with the secretary was we will put maximum pressure on the Americans. And meanwhile, we'll work on finding off-ramps. Because we know ultimately at the end of the day, the Trump tariffs are going to hurt Americans.
That is how it's done. By the way, have you seen these protests in Nuuk in Greenland? Oh, these protests were everywhere. I mean, just take a look right here as Pandel writes, today we demonstrated against Trump in Greenland. Nuuk, enough is enough. Leave Greenland alone. We're not for sale. We don't want to be Americans. We're Greenlandics. Demonstrations against Trump in Greenland with signs like this. Orange clown Donald Trump. You are a sick, stupid, dangerous, ADHD liar with no shame. Shame on you, you damn fool. and clean up the ICE camp now. F Trump, F Vance, F USA. And then it goes over here. Yankee go home. By the way, they're pissed at Mark Rutte as well, NATO Secretary of General. Why? Because he did kind of do the walk of shame into the Oval Office and was like laughing as Donald Trump was like, "Oh, we should help us conquer Greenland." Greenland's like, "No, Yankee go home, Yankee go home," is what they're saying. Here's another part of these massive anti-U.S. invasion protests in Nuuk, Greenland, outside the U.S. consulate. Play this clip.
Oh, dish soap is on sale. We need it.
Yeah, I think we need ketchup too.
What's in there?
None. By the way, take a look at the eggs in Greenland and Denmark. As Orla Jolston says, the U.S. government is literally asking Denmark for extra eggs now. America first, bro. You're begging Europe for omelets. Today I went to our local grocery store to buy some eggs. FYI, MAGA folks, Greenland has a lot of eggs thanks to Denmark. Look at all of those eggs right there. Let me just show you this message from the Arctic right here, as Orla Jolston posts Greenland. To the President of the U.S., enough is enough. Take a look at this powerful individual from Greenland. Play this clip.
Dear Mr. Trump, I'm speaking to you from the heart because that's how I communicate, and I really hope you listen. Today was a big day in Greenland. Our people came together today, marching peacefully to say, enough. Enough of your talk of taking over our land. Enough of the way you speak about Greenland as if it is something to be claimed, bought, or controlled. My family, my siblings, their children, my cousins, their children, along with the rest of the people of Greenland, just want to live in peace without the shadow of your threats, because that is what it is, a threat. It may not feel like one to you, sitting where you are, powerful and untouchable. But to us, the people who have called this land our home for thousands of years, who have survived in the Arctic.
And that is a mistake that many will make. They need to not. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are not untouchable. Never have been and never will be. So, keep that thought out of your minds. You all need to understand what untouchable actually means. Neither one of them have that. They never will. Because you see, the place they're in, they're not the boss. We are. And guess what? We're allowed to do stuff as a boss that they're not. I suggest you all start putting your big boy boots on and, or big girl boots even. Or person boots. Big, let's just do that. Put your big person boots on. And actually express how you feel about this bullshit. I want to go to jail or lose my job. I can't blame you. Not at all. There are ways to do it without that shit. And let me tell you, if you get fired for being anti-Trump, you didn't want to work at that job anyhow. Just saying. You really didn't want to work there anyway, whether you know it or not.
Through wisdom, resilience, and deep respect for the land. Your words are not just words. They are a reminder of a long history of outsiders trying to take what is not theirs. Greenland is not a piece of property. It is our home. It is our past, our present, and our future, and we will protect it. I hope this makes it absolutely clear. We do not want to be Americans. We are Greenlandic. We have our own identity, our own culture, and our own way of life, and we will not allow that to be erased or taken from us. So hear us when we say enough. Respectfully, Duban.
That was great stuff right there.
That was good.
Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Midas? Check out the Midas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, and daily recaps from
We had a huge hearing today in San Francisco, Northern District of California Federal Court. Judge Alsup, just this moment from the bench, issued an injunction requiring the Trump administration, based on the evidence presented so far, to rehire and stop firing probationary employees in 7 or 8 different agencies and departments of the government, because the judge found, in his words, that the Office of Personnel Management doesn't have the power to fire people, and that's exactly what they did. This sort of skirts the issue of the power of Elon Musk and Doge, puts it squarely on the entity that sent out the firing email, and has the judge now issuing the injunction after a hearing in his courtroom early, 8 a.m. California time
Damn. Judge said, no, motherfucker, this is the first on my docket for the day. That's how you know your judge is pissed off.
After watching the Vice President, J.D. Vance, spew a barrage of white supremacist hate speech and anti-European segregationist racist bile on Fox, I feel a profound sense of sadness. Sadness for every war hero that gave their life fighting for European freedom from Nazi occupation and tyranny during the Second World War.
Europe is at risk, I think, of creating, of engaging in civilizational suicide. They are unable to, or unwilling, too many countries to control their borders. You see them starting to push back against that, and good. That's a good thing. You see them starting to limit the free speech of their own citizens, even as those citizens are protesting against things like the border invasion that got Donald Trump and a number of European leaders elected. So, look, I want Europe to thrive. I want them to be an important ally. Part of that is going to be Europe respecting its own people.
What? Dude, you don't have a fucking clue. Not at all. FYI, for those who don't know, this is more fucking projection. What's really going down the path of a social country suicide is America! Congratulations!
Find me in other places: Discord, Twitter, YouTube, Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation Old Mage Guy on TikTok as Mage.
Yeah, these other countries, they kind of listen to people a lot more than we do. And, if you ain't realized that yet, you ain't got no room to be talking about other countries whatsoever. Not when it comes to the way they're doing their shit. Nope. You don't have a bloody clue. I mean, I might as well go ask a 5-year-old who's never heard of frickin' Germany what they think's going on in Germany. I'll get a more honest answer. Be like, I don't know. I I'm only 5.
People respecting its own sovereignty, and America can't do that job for them. If you have a country like Germany, where you have another few million immigrants come in from countries that are totally culturally incompatible with Germany, then it doesn't matter what I think about Europe. Germany will have killed itself.
To every Jew and minority faith group, person of color or asylum seeker who has struggled through immense suffering, persecution, and abuse at the hands of people as misguided, uneducated, and frankly offensive as J.D. Vance. Vance attempts to rewrite Europe's history to suit his own distorted, naive, nationalist, and native view of the world. He uses contradictory sentence structure to mask his fascistic leanings, weird syntax, and split infinitives, but we can cut through the grammatical malfeasance and decode his thinking. This is the return of Nazism. This is the return of the persecutors who have played a long game in order to sabotage American institutions and infiltrate an already broken electoral system to impose their minority view on America. If Germany takes in millions more incompatible migrants and destroy itself, what exactly does J.D. Vance mean by an incompatible migrant?
He doesn't
because
know.
To me that sounds remarkably similar to Hitler's description of Jews in the 1930s. The leadership and people of Germany don't see migrants or asylum seekers as incompatible with their culture. They're too smart for that. They have empathy.
And Schumer is a Palestinian as far as I'm concerned. You know, he's become a Palestinian.
Have empathy.
And Schumer is a Palestinian as far as I'm concerned. You know, he's become a Palestinian. He used to be Jewish. He's not Jewish anymore. He's a Palestinian. Okay.
What?
The ideology of Nazism was constructed based on a binary. The German nation was conceived as absolutely good, whereas the Jewish enemy was conceived as absolutely destructive or evil. In order to rescue the German nation, the Jewish force of destruction had to be eliminated or removed. Hitler described the German nation as a living organism consisting of the German people as good cells. Jews were called bacteria or parasites, pathogenic cells that had invaded the otherwise healthy organism. In order to rescue or save Germany from death, the source of the nation's disease, the Jewish bacteria or parasites, had to be removed from within the body politic. And within the political domain, any and all actions believed to be necessary to achieve the objective of rescuing goodness from badness are deemed justifiable. Hitler declared, "We may be inhumane, but if we rescue Germany, we have performed the greatest deed in the world." J.D. Vance, by suggesting that there is a cultural divide in immigration that should prevent Germany from absorbing migrants, is parroting Hitler's own ideology of hate. That there is the purity of nativism versus the pox of the other. Rats, lice, cockroaches, foxes, vultures. These are some of the animals the Nazis used to deride and dehumanize Jews. In a new linguistic analysis of dozens of Nazi speeches, articles, pamphlets, and posters, researchers now show how this process of anti-Semitic dehumanization, which began before the Nazis took power and helped fuel the party's popularity, was modulated to justify atrocity. In the years before the Holocaust, Jews were represented as being incapable of human feeling, coinciding with the Nazis' early efforts to exterminate them. European Jews were depicted as agents of evil, as demons, as a nefarious cabal scheming up threats. The consequence, whether intentional or not, was to overcome the moral barriers to their mass elimination. By the end of the war, the Third Reich had systematically murdered 6 million Jews.
And I want to touch on the fact here that Hitler himself was a Jew. So, let that be clear. Hitler hated what he was and tried to destroy what he came from. don't think that just because somebody is something doesn't mean they can't hate or be racist about it. That's why, yes, we have racist colored people. The shit's real. It does exist. Let's just fucking accept it. Let's own the shit. Let's not fucking try to sweep shit under the rug. Racism happens on all sides. White people are just really fucking bad about it. I mean, really fucking bad. They're lousy with it.
Railing against immigration had been a consistent feature of Donald Trump's presidential campaigns going back to his very first one. On the day that Trump launched his first presidential bid, in June 2015, he accused Mexico of not sending their best people. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people, he said. But I speak to border guards, and they're telling us what we're getting, he said, setting this tone for the MAGA movement. And since then, spanning 3 campaigns and 4 years in the White House, Trump has continued using inaccurate, derogatory, and racist language to refer to immigrants coming from all over the world. Now, some of Trump's comments mirror language used by white supremacists, such as his claim that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country. Hitler used the term blood poisoning in Mein Kampf to criticize the mixing of races. Trump's derogatory comments are often targeted at non-white immigrants. In 2018, he referred to Haiti and African nations as shithole countries. His claim about immigrants eating pets in Ohio had no basis in fact, but they were pushed in part by a neo-Nazi group. In February last year, he said the Democrats say, please don't call them animals, they're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They are not humans, they're animals, Trump said. Trump frequently ties undocumented immigrants to a spike in crime, as does Tom Homan, his chief ICE enforcer. But data does not support a migrant-driven crime wave in America. There is no proof that there are millions of people from prisons and mental institutions coming into the country.
None at all.
Indeed, it's likely that Trump only ever referred to mental institutions because he saw the word asylum and presumed that that's where they were coming from. In the first few days of this new Trump regime, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers began raids to detain immigrants living in the U.S. illegally and, it seems, legally, and increase their number of arrests and deportations, including those without violent criminal record.
Order all your allergy needs with DoorDash. They get everything you need to enjoy spring with one click. Enjoy springtime, huh?
Their number of arrests and deportations, including those without violent criminal records. Tom Homan, the border czar, said that the government's mass immigration deportation plans, which he said could include raids on schools and churches and other places previously considered havens, is all for the good of this nation.
How do you determine whether somebody is a gang member? What criteria do you use?
To do various investigations.
Let me make it clear here. If you were taking havens off the table, then you really are pulling a note out of Hitler's playbook. That's not hyperbole, that's part for part. And it's not the first note that he's taken. No, he's not the only one anymore. Now he's got friends up there that are in the same fucking boat. And here we are, more than 30 years later, and what's left of the Nazis is trying to take over America. Good job!